So we pick back up in Ruth chapter 1. We'll start in verse 6 and we'll read up to the Zakaph. Vatakom he vakaloteha, and she and her daughters-in-law arose. So we begin with a Vav consecutive form. Vav consecutives can carry the narrative. And our verb, we have a call imperfect 3fs, or third feminine singular, Vav consecutive form, and the root is kum. Now we know it's a third feminine singular, not second masculine singular. These are identical forms. Context tells us that it's a third feminine singular. I noticed that my root, the second root letter is a Vav, and this is called a weak verb. Weak verbs are verbs that have root letters that are a guttural, or a yod, or a Vav, or a noon, or a hey. And the hey is usually the third root letter. These are called weak verbs, and they're weak because they cause squirrely things to happen to your verb forms. And as we see here, we're left with two root letters. But I'm going to refer you to the video for Ruth 1:3a, because in that video the verb moot or moat looks nearly identical to our verb here in Ruth 1:6. And in the video for Ruth 1:3a, I go into detail of how you end up here. And so I would refer you to that video. Next, I have the third feminine singular pronoun he, which means she, and context tells us this is referring to Naomi. Now, before I talk about this form here, I notice that I have more than one subject, Naomi and her daughters-in-law. But, so I have a plural subject. But my verb is singular. You notice a disagreement in number, but I would not get too worried about that in biblical Hebrew. And in Semitic languages, this disagreement is okay, and you'll see this in Arabic as well. It's okay that the verb doesn't agree in number with the subjects. It happens all the time, and you'll see it throughout biblical Hebrew. And usually the verb's going to agree with the first subject, as we see here. So let's lastly take a look at this word here. This Vav is my conjunctive Vav, meaning and. But you heard me translate this word daughters-in-law. It's plural. Well, how do I know it's plural? And there are two things that tip me off that this noun is plural. First is the suffix. This is a third feminine singular suffix, but it's the 3fs suffix used for plural nouns. If you were to use a 3fs suffix for singular nouns, it would have looked like this, a kametz hey with a mapik, a little dot in that hey. This would have been used if there was one daughter-in-law, but we have more than one, so that's the suffix that we get. The second clue that lets me know I have a plural noun is that holum and tav. That is the feminine plural ending. If I were to write this noun in its singular form, I would get kala. This is the feminine singular form for daughter-in-law. You see that kametz hey? That is a feminine singular form. Now if I were to make that word plural, that kametz hey would be removed, and I would have a holum vav, tav, or I could just simply have holum tav, which is what we have up here. And so we have the plural suffix add it to a feminine plural noun. And so those are two clues to let me know that I have a a plural noun, more than one daughter-in-law.